useful to teams, coaches, players? I don't know. I mean, I think they get everything they need out of them right now. I don't know that there's anything different or special about preseason or practice. I mean, they can have a ton of guys available to them. I don't know that there's anything. I mean,
here they come.
Now I can see the warm-ups.
There we go. Taking the field there at MetLife as the Patriots and Giants will be kicking off here in about another hour. Which
Got
means
the white unis the first time this year. I don't know why they wore their homes last week. That's strange. Nobody cares but me.
Just getting out on the field right now, which means we need to and can step aside here very briefly, and then we'll be back to wrap up here this Patriots pregame show, fueled by Duncan, Hardy, Deuce, and Paul, all here on Patriots.com.
When did Bud Light Seltzer start making lemonade?
Probably when 2020 handed us all those lemons.
New Bud Light Seltzer Lemonade, packed with lemonade flavor after a lemon of a year.
Opponents? I've gone up against thousands.
And there's an opponent we're all up against, COVID-19.
But there's a way to beat it. Get vaccinated.
So when it's your turn, roll up your sleeves.
And let's get to the finish line together.
Johnny, you fawning.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
Jason Kokrak would be, infinitely more qualified. Yes. No.
Kokrak?
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
When were we talking about Jason Kokrak? When was that a thing?
I don't even know what that is.
Last
For
week.
what?
We were talking about just the amount of turnover from one week to the next, with the tournaments and how, one week you have like a tournament and there was like 6 guys in a playoff, right? Was there like 6 different guys that made a playoff one week, like 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
And then like the next week, those 6 guys won't even make the cut. Like it'll just be
golf.
a whole new 10 guys.
We did a golf segment last week?
Gotcha.
Golf talk.
I got you.
Good.
But real quick, when we had the warm-ups coming out here, I saw Gunnar Olszewski right there. He's back in the picture as I speak. Good sign because he missed practice, right?
He
He
did.
missed the portion that the media was allowed to view anyway.
Yeah, he missed the stretching portion on Friday. And he had a couple, he was supposed to speak with the media after practice a couple times this
So
week.
good to see him out there.
Gunner's totally the new Edelman.
Dealing with something. I mean, I feel like Mac has been looking his way a little bit more with Harry out over the last, week or so. Had a nice finish to one of the practices. I think it was the days are blending together, but
Monday.
It
was the day that I was the institutional
not
knowledge
allowed.
was asked to leave.
Some rogue security guard kicked us out, and we laughed. I snuck in not snuck, but I was tiered, so I was allowed to go down to the field. But some rogue security guard, you go now, yelling at us.
The 3 of us were up in our normal spot on the ramp, and the security guard told us to leave. But Mike was actually, he was okayed to be down with the rest of the.
Were you wearing pants?
Yes, unfortunately.
Because you looked
Bad
official.
day to wear pants too.
You looked official.
Yeah, but they couldn't tell he had pants on from where.
The very pants I was trying to return.
Another one.
Another email here. At some point, we've got we got to have a real discussion about the extreme resistance toward Cam that we've seen the last year and change. This is supposedly one of the hardest offenses to learn. Okay, yet he plays last year, no offseason, nothing really on offense to help, and is expected to be All-Pro QB1. Why is this? I don't see any quarterback coming in the same situation and doing much better. Then the COVID thing, most of us jump to all these conclusions, and he may not even be eligible to receive the vaccine. You guys are pretty reasonable in your coverage, so I'm not so much speaking about this show, just media and the fans in general. This is from Sil in Seattle.
Yeah.
Why would Cam not be eligible to receive the vaccine?
I don't know.
I don't
know how that. I mean, medically, I'm not.
I don't know.
I'm not an expert on this.
Here's the thing about the vaccine, and Matthew Slater talked about it last week too. The same Matthew Slater who did a PSA earlier in the year, where he was asking a doctor, whom I believe he is married to,
He is.
about the safety of the vaccine, and she says they're very safe and this, that. And he goes, okay, just trying to provide information so everyone can make an informed choice. After day one and Cam isn't there, Matthew Slater was asked about it again, and his answer was, well, a lot of guys, these are grown men and they don't like being told what to do.
Yeah,
that's
a big one.
So this is a personal decision for everybody. And I was watching it, and I was really surprised to hear that type of commentary from Matthew Slater, because it was framed by somebody initially as like, finally some common sense and good sound judgment from the place you'd expect at Matthew Slater. And then he comes with, well, guys don't like being told what to do. Like, from Matthew Slater, I was expecting something a little more insightful than that. Like the rest of us, we love being told what to do. Oh, Paul, you're a grown man and you love being told what to do. No, nobody likes it. Nobody wishes
the
for
thing is, it's
any
not
of
even
this
just
stuff.
like, I think it's so like, it's misleading. Like, yeah, I don't like being told what to do when I can make my own decision. Like when I have all the information and I don't like someone tells me like, you need to do this, then that. But like, I don't know about a vaccine. I'm going to trust the medical professionals that do. That's not necessary to me. That's not being told what to do.
Right.
That's being given information, and you choose to ignore it if you want. But I mean, I do it because I think it's the best thing for me.
And well,
not because someone told me to.
Not only that, this is the other thing, and I asked Zoe about it. I'm like, Zoe, because he tended to agree with Slater on this. I'm like, in all your years, especially let's say when you played for Bill Parcells, he let you guys pretty much do whatever you wanted, right? You liked him because you were never told what to do. That's part of being on a football team. That's part of being, you get told what to do in a lot of aspects of life. Now, you can have a very immature reaction to it and just say, well, I'm not doing it because if they telling me to do it, then if your first inclination is just to go the other way because you don't like being told what to do, that doesn't seem like you're using all the information at your disposal. That just seems like you're being stubborn and a little childish. And then you just said, Paul, it's like, well, making the decision for me, this is still a team sport, and at some point you do have to factor in what is going to be best for the team.
Yeah.
I don't think it was great for the Patriots to be without their presumptive starting quarterback for 4 or 5 days while he was going through the cadence and the protocol. And you can argue that the rules don't make sense and that they're unfair toward vaccinated players, but the league agreed to it, the NFLPA agreed to it, and those are the rules. So direct all those calls and commentary toward your Players Association and toward the league. These are the rules. The team knew them, presumably. Cam knew them, presumably, chose to ignore them, chose to go a route that is going to make things more difficult for him, and now we're just supposed to go along with what Slater or anyone else says and says, you know what, he is a grown man. He doesn't like to be told what to do, so I'm going to have his back on this. It's difficult for me to have his back on this one. Yeah. It really is.
Yeah, and I think what some of the questioning was getting to this week was, this is just an example of what could easily happen again. And, what we've heard over the years is that, availability trumps ability. And how do you go into a season when you know at any moment that your starting quarterback could be gonzo for 5 days at any point if, something doesn't go right? And I think that uncertainty is not meshing well with what we've come to know as an organization that likes everything up front. We know what we know what we're not going to shoot ourselves in the foot. Don't beat yourselves. All that kind of stuff. So and then back to the caller's bigger point. You're right. I mean, there are factors, and some people want to say their excuses, but I think that everything that he listed off are factors. But I think what my problem was that there was no development last year from Newton. There wasn't really. The last game was pretty good, but overall, you didn't see him making strides. You didn't really see him. And when they re-signed him, I said I want to give him another chance. And that's part of my frustration this summer is that I haven't seen enough to really feel like I know if this is a Cam Newton now that has had full-time. I've seen glimpses of it. It looked like against Philly. It looked pretty good. But I'd love to see him in extended action tonight. Maybe it can't affect anything. Maybe it's already decided. But just personally for me, I'd like to see an extended period of him, consistency, not turning the ball over, finding the guys in time and maybe going against the Giants' #1 defense to give us a little bit more of a sense of where he's at and how much he's improved.
Yeah, and along those lines, when I was on with the other show on the Sports Hub, They mentioned, I guess Cam had a social media post today. Did you guys?
I couldn't really tell. Someone sent it to me, and I couldn't really.
Yeah, and it indicates that I guess there's like an arrow pointing to QB1.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there it is. Yeah, you are not in control of my thesis. Jay-Z is the quote.
So he seems to be, if you want to extrapolate to the messages, and these things almost always have some sort of message to them. I think he's kind of acting like a guy who has been told that he's won the job, but we'll see.
All right, well, maybe we'll find out something tonight based on playing time and how much guys are out there. It's difficult to discern anything. We tried to glean something from who was taking first-team reps when Cam was back at practice on Thursday. He did go out there first, but what does it mean? What are the coaches trying to determine? If I were coaching the team, I would want to see how Cam looked after being gone for a few days, and whether he was out there first or second, I don't know that it makes all that much difference. It probably does to them, but you have to see them both, and I would guess we'll see them both tonight. For how long remains to be seen. There were some people who said this is the type of thing that not that Cam's decision necessarily or his attitude toward all of this is reason for him losing his job, but the fact that he could be unavailable again for another 5-day clip this close to the start of the season is reason enough to say, okay, you lost your job over this. And we're not saying you're off the team entirely, but your job as the starting quarterback of this team, that we can't have. That we can't go into a season with this much uncertainty week after week after week. We're not doing it. And there were a pretty strong chorus of voices who said, in addition to all the other stuff on the field play, this alone would be enough for a lot of people to say, it can't be you. If you're not going to be here, how can it be you?
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's a secondary thing. That's another nail in the coffin to me. Like,
it's not the main thing.
Yeah, if he was my clear-cut starting quarterback, I'd be disappointed that he didn't get the vaccine, but he'd be my clear-cut starting quarterback. Like, Kirk Cousins is the quarterback in Minnesota. He doesn't have the
vaccine, no vaccine.
Kellen Mond isn't going to overtake him. But I don't think Cam's in that same spot. So I think, like Hardy said, it's a factor because in addition to him not being clearly better than his competition, he's not reliable. It's just by definition he's not reliable.
By definition of the rules for the NFL this season and the COVID protocols, it makes him unreliable. That's it. Yeah. I mean, we've already seen it. We're seeing it in Buffalo right now. We've seen it here with the Patriots. You're seeing it with other teams. I fear that's the way this season is going to play out. They're not going to be changing the protocols anytime soon.
Right, and he's not the only one either, but he's the quarterback, and it's hard to say.
The problem is you've got team leadership, whether it's Matthew Slater, and who knows how far up the ladder it goes. People are saying, like, how can they allow this? And I said from the outset, I said, because somebody, with the team is okay with his decision. For whatever reasons, they are not as upset about this as other people are.
Right.
They see what Cam is doing. They hear whatever reasons he has for not being vaccinated, and they say, you know what? I get it, and I'm kind of with you. I may be, I got the jab, but you didn't, and I got your back on this one. And people thought I was nuts. And then you hear Matthew Slater. It sounds like, oh, I think Slater's got his back. I think I'm not saying who is and who isn't, but watch the sidelines, watch practice, see who's wearing a mask, when they're supposed to be masked at times. And you can get a pretty clear idea of guys who aren't doing it.
Yep.
And there's a fair number of people, in and around this team who are of a like mind with Cam Newton. So, no, I don't think everyone's upset with him over this. I think a lot of people kind of agree with him.
A couple things, too, just to point out as we're seeing some warm-ups here. The new guy is, in fact, in uniform tonight, so that's a good sign.
Oh, Sean Wade?
For Sean Wade. So,
Mike has to be.
I know. Well, the red uniform, and Friday gave me some pause.
Yeah,
but
my guess on that is
Trey Nixon as well back.
That's a good sign. My guess with Wade is that he was in red because he hadn't been fully cleared.
Oh, yeah. Nobody touched him.
Yeah. He's probably, maybe he didn't get a chance to do the run or whatever, and he hasn't physically been cleared. or something like that. I'm not saying it was that.
What was it?
specifically.
Entrench. What was the quote about Paul? That was
Institutional knowledge.
Institutional knowledge.
Oh, he takes Sony's number. Tony Maz will be happy with that.
Deep institutional knowledge.
26 for Sean Wade, I believe. He was originally 20.
It's like Eugene Wilson.
25, I thought. But
let's grab 2 quick calls here, and then we'll do the over-unders.
26.
Todd in Greenville, North Carolina. What's up, Todd?
I'm going to start by apologizing quickly if you guys have already talked this. Two quick things. Mac not being able to complete a whole season. It was discussed on WEEI this morning by your ex-host there, and he said that there's a reason why Cam is being treated with kid gloves because they need him in order to give Mac a little bit of time to adjust. And the other thing is the comments that were posted by Zolak and about rap music and stuff. Just if you could touch those, feel free, that'd be great. I'm going to take it off the line. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Ever tried on a hot dog, Paul?
All right. I don't know. I guess he's talking about Andy Hart this morning. Said something about the reason why Cam is getting.
We talked about it during the week, Mike and I, with Fred. It seems like this new thing. Like part of the equation for Mac Jones is he's small and he won't be able to make it through the season.
Okay.
Like, I don't.
All right.
I can't imagine.
I don't think
having
that's a huge deal.
No, and even if he's small, like you just got to roll with him. That's your quarterback, right? Like what are you going to? Well, don't play him when he's going to.
His size might be a big deal, but I don't think the mentality of we can't play him yet because he's not going to make it through the season.
And I think too, like just to make a bigger point about Mac, what I've kind of feel like with him, he's going to have to win with his head. Like if he's late on stuff, he's going to get hit. He's going to get picked. He needs to win with his mind, and I think that he can. I'm not sure exactly to what level yet that he can, but he does show that plus processing that you thought he had. But I think he needs that. I really do. I think that that's going to be a key part of his game. It's got to continue to develop, and if it doesn't, then we're talking about getting blasted by calling the wrong guy coming in. You don't see the free runner coming in. Those kind of things happening. That's what's going to get him hurt.
As far as what Zolak said, I would say if you're local, tune into the broadcast tonight. I imagine, I don't know if he's going to be addressing it at any point during the show or not. I don't know.
I don't know either. And we hadn't talked about it when we last talked about the broadcast tonight because I am part of that. It hadn't happened. It was the day before. That was Thursday. I think it happened Friday. If I'm not mistaken, or maybe he said it at some point differently. But yeah, to me, that's something for Scott to talk about himself. I mean, I think we can all agree it's kind of silly to suggest rap music. It's to me him attaching a specific genre was kind of odd. I think that's what's getting him in trouble.
I think that's probably what I was on the air with him at the time when he said it, and I've seen a video of it. Of my reaction afterward, and
did you roll your eyes?
No, I went. Huh? So no, I didn't agree with him at the time. I also didn't think it came from a place of malice. I didn't think it was anything beyond that. I don't agree with what Zoe said, but that's for.
See, I think there's two different things that work though with the whole thing. And again, I'll let Zoe. He's a big boy and he can speak for himself. But forget about the racial connotation that is getting attached to it for a second. I know that's hard to do because that's a huge component of this whole thing.
That is
with
the
rap
component
music.
for a lot of people.
No, I know that.
Yes.
But I think what Zoe's point is that he feels like Cam is distracted at practice.
I don't think. Yeah,
right. I'm not telling you right, wrong, or indifferent.
Right.
But I'm saying I think Zoe's point is that the music, he's listening to the music as well as playing, as opposed to just concentrating on playing. Right. Now, I think that he gets himself in all kinds of racial trouble by saying rap music, and Cam is obviously an African-American quarterback. So
it went a little beyond that, though.
Yes.
Some people say there are underlying, when you say hard worker, focused, that's code word for a white player. When you say something like loose, having fun, that is code for a lot of people for black players. And I don't know what was in his head or in his heart when he said that. I think there is a certain frustration level for people who watch this team week in and week out and see a guy who's missed a few games come back and say, he doesn't seem bothered by any of this. And I think for Cam, he's like, no, I'm not bothered by it. This is what I've been doing every game now from the day I've been playing quarterback. So for Cam, it's it's not an issue at all. What are you talking about? And that's what a lot of people are like, what are you talking about? Maybe Zoe will address it, maybe not. I don't know. I do know that we have to do over-unders.
So
it's time for this week's edition of Over-Unders.
You're over me? When were you under me?
So real quick, Hardy, before you get to the over-unders, Zoe just addressed this.
Oh.
On the pregame show, on 98.5's Patriots pregame show, Scott Zolak apologized for the rap music comments. Quote, "I'm sorry for that comment. I didn't need to make that comment." He later added that Cam's nothing but class and a great guy, and he said that he apologized directly to Cam this morning as well. So this is what I think Zoe had to do. Like I said, he's a big boy. He said something. He can stand up for himself.
Yeah.
He doesn't need us to defend him, but I'm glad that he addressed it. I don't know if it'll be enough in this day and age. I know people generally don't rest on these things until they get their pound of flesh. Hopefully that won't be the case here.
All right, let's go over the season totals so far, preseason totals. Do so with a commanding lead here, huh?
6-6.
Mike's at 6-6. Paul and Hardy 5-7. All right, let's bang through these. Mac Jones passing touchdowns at a half.
I'm going to go over.
Let's go over.
I'm going to go over too, even though it's the only one I missed last week.
Jacoby Myers receiving yards 45.5.
That seems high, but I'm going to let Deuce go
I'm going
first.
under. Rest him.
Ooh. Paul?
I'm going to go over. They don't have enough receivers.
I'm going to go under, too, because I'm going to root for him to not be playing a whole lot.
Which Jones has the better game tonight, Mac or Daniel?
Ooh. What is the definition, please? I need more information.
We'll have to all agree.
Well, I'll have to agree.
I am not putting my faith in your shoes.
I'm going to just say Mac. Why not?
I'm going to say Mac because I saw a little bit of Daniel Jones, so I'm going to go with Mac.
I don't trust Daniels either. It's Dan.
I'm going to say Mac, too, just because I want us to all be the same. I don't want to lose a point based on your interpretations of what was a better game.
We all lose.
You know what?
We all lose.
Smart. Very smart.
J.J. Taylor total yards 75.5.
Over. I think he's going to get a ton tonight because they don't really have anybody else.
I'm going to go under.
I'm going to go over. But I'm a little curious on that. They don't have anybody else comment. That's as deep a spot as they have.
I just think the third preseason game they're going to have
Harris.
Protect those guys. He's the only one that's expendable.
He's
not expendable. They need him now. They traded Sony Michel.
Barely expendable.
Here's the fun one. Spread on the game tonight.
New England -3.
I'd see how you I'm going with the home team.
Oh.
I'm
going with the home dog.
Box loudest.
I'm going to take the points. What does that mean?
It means you're taking the Giants.
I will take the Patriots. I think the Patriots are playing the preseason very seriously.
So much for that credible label you got from Chad Finn today.
Institutional knowledge.
And then the Turtle 36
should be
total 36 points.
The Turtle.